Lecture by CYC Chen Cynthia. You can pause anytime you need. 你可以随时按下暂停键。Hello everyone, today we are going to do a sketch. So you need to have your sketchbook like this. You will see the sketch on the cover. Okay, you will see the sketch on the cover, that's the sketchbook. If you don't have the sketchbook, you can use the mixed media paper, okay? So that will show mixed media is for dry media, all right? And you can use the printing paper if you don't have the sketchbook, all right? So printing paper is work as well. Then you need to have your sketch pencils. You can have a whole set like this, and you are going to get a full set of the sketch pencils. If you don't have, you can have few of them, all right? And of course, you need to have your erasers, and the sharpener might be useful for this time, all right? If you don't have the sketch set, it's okay, just use any regular pencil you have for writing, all right? So let's get everything all set for the class. Hello everyone, today we're gonna do 1-point perspective again, but we're gonna use this knowledge into a straight joint, okay? And yes, you're gonna do your own straight design, all right? So I want you to have your paper bigger than the letter size, so it's bigger than 8 inch by 11 inches, all right? So make sure your paper is big enough, not too small. Okay, so this is mine. That's my sketch paper, so make sure you have your sketch paper. Then I want you to have your paper like this directions, okay? So we will have enough space to do the building on the side and to have the street at the middle. Okay, we're gonna do a straight joint for today. Okay, so we're gonna do the joint within 2 parts. All right, so the first part, we're gonna do the basic out shape of the street. Okay, we might have a bunch of the box, the shape of the house, the street, and that's it. Then at the second part, we're gonna start to add in more detail, like the trash bank, like the pipes, like the stop sign, like the driveway, the line at the middle, the cart, and the lens on the side, the window detail, the doors, even you want to add some passenger. Okay, that will be the second part. We're gonna do the detail at the second part. So today we just focus on the layout and the big shape of the street. All right, so first of all, we have our paper like this directions, right? So I want you to eyeball it to do the scale. I want you to divide the paper into 3 columns. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm gonna have 2 dots. Just eyeball it. You don't need to use the ruler to measure it, okay? So mine is, see, 11 inches. So make sure your paper is longer than 11 or just like 11 inches. Okay, not smaller than that. If you have the small paper, it's very hard for you to do the detail after. All right, so we just eyeball it to divide the paper into 3 columns. All right, so I have 1, 2 point, then I can divide 1, 2, 3. They don't have to be exactly the same, but similar. So I'm gonna fix this. All right, so it's about 3.5, about 3.5, about 3.5. See, they're almost like the same, but they are not exactly, but almost. Okay, I just eyeball it, I didn't measure it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 column, just give me 2 dots. All right, then I want you to find a vantage point at the middle of the paper. It doesn't have to be at the center, it could be a little bit higher, a little bit close to the right, or a little bit close to the left, doesn't matter, but make sure you have your vantage point at the middle of the columns. Okay, it could be a little bit right, a little bit left, a little bit high, a little bit low. It doesn't have to be at the center. All right, I'm gonna have this one right here. That's my vantage point, a dot. Okay, so we're gonna divide the middle and the side by vantage point. So just have a straight line. Try to freehand it. I don't want to see anyone using the ruler. Eyeball it. Okay, if you use the ruler, put the ruler down because I want to train in your eye muscles and your hand muscles so you can control it. Okay, so even I make the mistake, so I'm gonna redo it one more time. All right, so that's my triangle. Okay, so we have the driveway where the cup going through, right? But we need to have the passengers ways like the sidewalk. So you have to decide how big of your sidewalk, because next to the sidewalk you might have the greens and you might have the house. So you won't have your sidewalk too big, then you won't have space to do the house. Okay, so I want my sidewalk like this big, not too much, and connect to the vantage point. I just eyeball it and try to make the line straight. That's it. So driveway, sidewalk on both sides, 1 and 2. All right, so I want you to do 6 buildings. So you can choose either one of them. Okay, you can have 2 on the right and 4 on the left, or 3 by 3, or 1 by 5. Your choice. Okay, but I want to see 6 buildings on your paper. Okay, how does that work? So first of all, remember the the 1 point perspective. We start with a face. So everything looks like the square and rectangle, right? So I want my first building right here. Not too high. That's my first building. So remember all the high. So this two has to be vertical direction, straight up. It can be diagonal. Okay, must be straight up. All right, and my second building is next to it, but I need some space, right? So I can do the straight from. So same thing, I have my second building, go behind. Okay, vertical directions, horizontal directions. Okay, and my last building a little bit higher. I want to be a big condo, so it's a little bit higher and go behind. So remember, all the high has to be straight up. All the high has to be straight up, like a vertical direction. All the width, top and the bottom, all the width has to be horizontal directions. Right and left, not diagonal. Have to be horizontal. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 on the right. So same thing, you're gonna working on your left. 1, 2, 3. The size could be different, it could be the same. Up to you. All right, so that's my first one. Vertical direction, straight up, and horizontal. Vertical. And horizontal one more time is a box. Okay, then I'm gonna do another difference. Don't worry, when I finish, you're gonna have the time to finish yours. But just remember, you need some space in between. Okay, you need some space in between. Alright, so I have my 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I'm gonna pause the video right here. So until you finish all the 6 boxes. Okay, again, you don't have to copy mine. You can create any size of the box. Okay, so the lower one could be a bungalow, could be a residential house. The high building could be the condo, could be the business tower. Up to you. Okay, so when you do the box, you have to think something in your mind. What kind of building you need and what does the shape looks like? Is tall, is low, is way, is skinny. Okay, So think about it. I want to see 6 of them. All right, so you can choose 2 on the side, 4 on the other side, or 1 on the side, and 5 on the other side. Your choice. Okay? Alright, so for the next part, it will be a little bit confused. So I'm gonna do it one at a time. Okay, so which means I'm gonna do it with 6 times. Okay, alright. So remember, all the objects for perspective drawing is related to what? The vantage point. Okay, so now our 6 building like 2D flat. I can see the depth. I can see there looks like 3D directions. Okay, so which means we're gonna connect all the corner to the vantage point. So let's see. I want to see that's going to there, right? I do it very light, so I can erase this very easily. Okay, then I want my building stop right here. So straight down. I'm gonna do it a little bit harder. And the top here. See, I connect the corner to the vantage point. Let me write VP. Okay, you don't have to write it, but just remember it. This is the vantage point, not just something there. Okay, it has the meaning. So remember the gift box that we made, the top of the box, right? That's it. This is our first box. Alright, so I'm gonna erase the line in the middle because we won't see anything at the back because the house is covered the second one. The first one is covered the second one, and same thing on the top. I don't need that one anymore. So this is my first box. Then you will say it doesn't look like the house. I know, but we will start with the box first, just like the bird house that we made. Remember, we start to do a cube. Then we break down the cube from the front and side to make the birdhouse. Same thing here, but we just need to do it 6 times. Alright, so let's do the second one. The corner, connect to the vantage point. Alright, and why I'm not doing the top? Because the point is higher. Let me place the ruler. See? The line is higher than the vantage point. Remember the first class I showed you when our eye level is lower than the object, we are not able to see anything on top, right? Because we are lower. So same thing for this box. Because the box is higher than the vantage point, so which means we won't see the top, right? So I want my box stop right here. So that will be my second box. So we only see 2 sides of the box. Alright, so same thing, I'm gonna erase it. The middle. So 1, 2, we finished 2 boxes. And the high building the same. I'm gonna connect the corner to the vantage point going down. Same thing, because the corner is higher than the vantage point, so I'm not able to see the top of the buildings. So I just need to connect one straight down. So this is my last building on the right. Alright, I'm gonna pause the video right here until you finish the box on the right. Then we will move on to transform the 2D shape into 3D for the left side. Alright, same thing. Connect the corner. We just do it from the left to the right. We was doing the right to the left. Now we are doing left to the right. Corner, connect to the vantage point, very light because we're gonna erase this anyway. Then, because the corner is lower than the vantage point, so we can see something on the top. So I have to connect twice. Alright? Okay, so I want my building stop right here. Okay, remember the gift box, we will see the something on the top. Alright, remember all the width has to be horizontal. All the width has to be horizontal. Make sure your line, right, this one has to be horizontal. And all the height has to be vertical. Alright, I finished the box. And I'm gonna erase the line inside the box because that's something go behind. We won't see it. And the top as well. Alright, so that's my first one on the left. Now, connect the corner to the vantage point. That's my second building. Alright, then again, the corner is higher than my vantage point because I'm lower. So I'm not going to see the top of the building. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the building right here. Then this is my second box. Let me trace it a little bit harder so you won't confuse. Alright, then I'm gonna erase the line in the middle so we won't confuse. Alright, so the last building. Same thing, you have to go down because the vantage point is at the bottom. Okay, and I see the corner right here. I'm gonna do it. And the building stop in between. Vertical direction, please. Okay, vertical direction straight down. Make sure there's no angle. Alright, so I'm gonna remove all the connection line and erase my VP. I don't need the writing right there. Alright, so I'm gonna do a ground line so I know it stopped right here. It stopped right here and the top will be the sky area. Okay, so I'm gonna continue. Alright, I'm gonna continue. That's my ground level. Okay, so now we can see something, right? We can guess that's the road, that's the sidewalk, and that's a bunch of the box, and we know we can guess those are the houses, right? The structure of the building. Okay, but I'm not sure what kind of building, what types of the structures is right there, right? Are they the house? I don't know. They looks like the box. Okay, is that a building? It kind of, but I can't tell. Is the office building, is the condo for living, or is the shopping mall? It's very hard to say that, right? Because they are just a bunch of the box. So I'm gonna pause the video right here so you can continue to finish the box and make sure all the height has to be vertical direction. All the width has to be horizontal direction. And the depth of the building is connecting to the vantage points. So you are not going to do the diagonal line anywhere you want. You have to make sure all the diagonal line is going through the vantage points that we have. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video right here for a couple of minutes. So during this time, fix the box, make sure you are doing the right angle. You're using the vantage point and all the line is straight. Okay, then the second question for you, you have to think, what are those structures? A house, a condos, a department store, a supermarket. I don't know. So you have to think about it. All right? Take your time. I'm gonna pause right now. Alright, so we're gonna do something big, the basic, because we are still in section 1. So we will do even more on section 2. So for the section 1, we just finished the basic shape of the structures. So I'm gonna do the house first. The house was just like the bird house that we make. We got the roof, we have side, we have door, and you have the window. Okay? So I'm gonna use my first one, the first two, okay? So I'm gonna do it with different direction. Okay, let me do the left one. Okay, we start with the face. All right, so remember the birdhouse. We're gonna design, everything looks like 2D at the first box. All right, I want to have my roof. That's my roof. Looks like this. All right, and double line because the roof has the thickness. It is not a piece of paper. Okay, then that's the body. Usually the body of the house is smaller, skinnier, shrink it. Then the roof is smaller than the roof. So I'm gonna move in. Okay. Then you can think about the door and the window later. All right, so we have to make the 2D shape into 3D. So we're gonna borrow the vantage point. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna start from the roof to connect to the vantage point. But remember, we have the box, so you just need to do it inside the box. See, I'm not going over it. I stop inside the box. Same thing, the roof, top, connecting to the vantage point, but I'm gonna stop inside the box. So we have 1 and 2. Okay, then I can close the roof. All right, then I'm gonna do some erasing because we've done the roof. I can erase the box so you won't feel confused. Erase the line out, we don't need it. So that's why I told you do it a little bit more light. It's easier for you to erase. Okay, so remember, I just accidentally erased the roof. So I'm gonna redo it. All right, and remember, we make the body of the house smaller. So I'm gonna connect the corner to the vantage point. The same thing. Make sure you are doing smaller than the box that we made. And close on the side, and it has to be vertical. All right, so that's the shape of the house. But it's facing to this side, right? If you want to facing to the street, how can you do it? All right, so I'm gonna use this one to show you. So we're gonna do on this face. But it looks a little bit tricky, isn't it? Don't worry. All right, so we use this to find the center point. So right, left looks similar, okay? So I'm gonna do it a side. I want the roof like this big. How about here? How do I know? So I'm gonna connect this line, this point, to the vantage point. Very, very light. Very, very light. Okay, so now I can start from here and touch the joint right here. So that's the roof. So see, even the detail, I need to borrow the vantage point. The vantage point is there all the time for you. Okay, so same thing, I need to do double lines. The roof has the thickness. Okay, then the house, the body of the house has to be smaller than the roof. So I'm gonna do it straight down, straight down. So we got the side. And how about the side of the roof? Okay, from the top of the point, horizontal, touch the box and stop. The roof, horizontal, all the way, touch the box and stop. Then joint from here, straight down, not straight down, all the way down to touch the corner right here. All right, so I can remove the box. So we finished the roof. All right, and remember the body of the house is smaller than the roof, so I have to go in and down, straight down, and close horizontal, and clarify the line that we don't need it. So keep erasing. Okay, keep your paper clean so you won't confuse. Otherwise, at the end of the drawing, you are gonna have lots of connection line and your paper will gonna be messy. All right, so let's see. I have a house facing to the front. I have the house facing to the street, right? So this one that we just practiced for the birdhouse, so it shouldn't be hard for you. And this one is a little bit tricky, all right, but it's good to practice. All right, and then the other building, you can do something different shape. The condo is very easy. It's basically just like the box, but sometimes they will have the roof, the loft. So which means they have the second floor, the higher floor. So I want to make something small. Sometimes they will put the graphics on the top, so you have another small area on top of the buildings, or you can have the balconies, right? So or you want to have the special shape, like the shopping mall, the Eaton Center. They are not like the box. They have a shape, right? But make sure the bottom is straight so they can place on the ground. Okay, see, I'm making the shape to make them look like a designer building, not just a box. All right, so now I want you to take your time to finish the shape of the structures. You can add the balconies, you can add the loft, you can make the special shape for your building, but just make sure what kind of function of that building. Okay, you can have different layers. You can make the building looks like the cake with different size of the layer and one on the top. All right, so take your time. So today entire class we will just finish the out shape of the structures, and we will do the detail at the second part. Alright, so don't limit yourself. The building can be any shape, but just make sure you're using the vantage point. Okay, whatever the roof, whatever the extra loft, okay, whatever it looks like the cylinder, make sure the curve looks smooth. Okay, if you have the extra, if you want to have the shape. See, even I add another the design right here, I also using the vantage point to do my line, the thickness, right? So don't forget you have the vantage point right there, and use that for all the detail. All right, so take your time and grab your erasers to erase the extra line to keep your joint clean. All right, so you still have time, so don't be rushed. Take your time. Today you just need to finish something looks like this. Clear out shape of the structures. That's it. Don't worry about the window, don't worry about the door, don't worry about the accessory, the background. No. Focus on the shape of the building and make sure they are on the right direction, make sure they are on the right scales, and make sure you're using the vantage point. And free hand, please. No one using the ruler. Alright? Take your time. Alright, so when we finish our section 1, the out shape of the structure, now we are moving on to do more detail. Remember the birdhouse, we add in the tile, we have the wood textures, we have the door, the thickness, maybe the pole for the bird to stand, right? Those are the details. So we're gonna doing the same thing for our structures, okay? We try to do it as much as we can, alright? So in case you confuse, so I'm gonna do it with the markers, but please, you have to stay with the pencil and eraser. So you still have the chance to fix this. Alright, still working on with the pencils and erasers. And I will do it with the markers. Alright? Okay, so we're gonna have your fresh memory about the birdhouse with this one. Alright, so I'm gonna use the pencil. I'm gonna break because the real life of the house, the roof tile has to be smaller. Alright, I follow the same direction of my roof. I didn't do it like very freestyle. Then, remember we have to connect to the vantage points all the time. To the vantage point. Alright, then let me zoom in. I'm gonna use the marker so you won't confuse, but please stay with the pencil. Alright, remember the roof tile is not the rectangle, the bottom part is a little bit curved, so we're gonna do the same thing. But because they are a little bit small, so I'm not going to ask you to do the thickness of the roof. That will be too much. But I want to see at least the shape of the roof tile looks more realistic. Okay, a little bit curved. One at a time, please. I use the grid to help me so my tile can look more organized. Alright, so that's the tile of the roof. Okay, then about the window. Okay, so remember I want to do the window on the side, but remember the width have to go through the vantage point, so it's going through, so it looks like the diagonal line, and the height have to be vertical, straight. Are you going to do a box across at the middle? No, they are not the detail. I want to see the window frame. So double line, and my marker's a little bit too thick. All right, so same thing. I want to do my second window and connect to the vantage point, go into the vantage point, straight down, and do my second window. All right, so I might want to have some pipes on the side, your choice. All right, so that's a detail. So I think it will be very easy for you to do it something at the front. Right, so now is the time for you to start to do the detail of your structure. So we have 6 of them, so it takes your time. All right, so what if you want to do a store sign? Maybe you want to open a store, right? So let's see. I want to have the signage so we can show the customer what kind of store are we, right? So same thing. The line box has the thickness, straight, vertical, horizontal, and we will have connecting to the vantage point, connect to the vantage point. It looks like a box, so we will have the signage right here. And I want my door curved in. How'd that work? So I want my door like this big, connect to the vantage point. Then let's see, I add in the line on the right. That's the thickness, so it looks like the door is curved in, right? So I have to erase the line so it will look more real. So you will see. So it looks like my door is a little bit built in, it's curved in, not just like the window flat on the wall. The door is go into it. The same thing. When I want to do the door, I'm gonna have the door frame. However, it's curved in, it's very small, but I still want to do some detail, right? Even my signage, I got a frame for my signage. That's something very small, right? Okay, so what if you want to do a balcony? All right, let's see here. The balcony, I want to do something looks like here. Okay, it come out so people can stand here, and same thing, I'm gonna connect to the vantage point, and you might need to have a roof. Same thing, I want to connect to the vantage point. That's the roof. Okay, so you might have the rail so people are not falling. So it will look like a balcony pops out from a building. Okay, so if you are ready, then you can start and try to add the detail as much as you can. I would say you will start from the front, then going through the forward back. All right. Alright, don't worry. I just want to show you my detail. What do I mean by detail? I finished my first house. Alright, which means I have another 5 hasn't done yet. Okay, so that's the detail. I want to see the tile, the detail, the textures, and all the accessory that you need. Like you need to have the handle, the number of the house, if you need the lamp, so during the night you can see the light, right? So I have a small gardens, I have the sidewalk from the house to connect to the main passenger sidewalk. Okay, so I can walk to there. So I think about it, right? I didn't just do something there without thinking. I think what I need for my structures. So there are lots of thinking. Even you want to add the chimney or the signals, stuff, right? So some of your house had this thing, right? So you can get the signal to watch the TV, like the cable box. All right, the wires, isn't it? And maybe I have some bush around my house, but I might not have something on the street. That's illegal. All right, so I want to think about the detail for each structures. You have to think, what do I need for this structure? If you open a store, what do you need for the store? A display window, a light box for the sign, a big double side door, or you need to have some decorations to make your customer realize you are there for some business. Okay, so there are lots of thinking. We are not just doing something pretty, we have to think about the functions, right? So keep working on your joints and do more thinking, and then you can have the detail for your joints. All right, so keep working on it. Alright, I finished my from to. Same thing. I try to add all the detail I have. So this is my flower shop. So I want to add some stairs so people can walk like 2 stairs, then they can walk in. But I can't make the stair on the sidewalk, right? It's bother someone to cross the street. So I have to do the built-in. So I have to curve in the building and I can add the stair. Alright? Or then another way, you can move back the building so you can make the stair coming out of the building. Your choice. You can move back so you have more space at the front in between the sidewalk and your building. Or you can just like me, I just make my stair go into the building. Alright, and I do have another small balcony like the cylinder curve shape, and I have the skylight on the roof. Okay, so keep working on this. I know it's lots of work to do, but it will come with very nice. Alright, so for today, entire class just for you to add in the detail for all of your buildings. Alright, so I did a market, and see, I didn't make the market looks too complicated because normally they won't have too much detail on the building structure. They always have the big glass and putting some photo on it, right? So when you're done with your structures, I want you to think about something on the street. I haven't done my structure, but I have to do something on the street, so to show you. So see, I have the garbage truck. You can't do a mailbox or something like you place the newspaper, or you can have a bus stop or the stop sign, a traffic light, a crossings, right? But when you want to do the floor lamp, the lamp on the street, so let's see why they looks different size. Because the one more close to us will looks bigger. Then I finish the first one and I do it to the vantage points. Then I find my second one, connect to my vantage point. Then I got my third one. Okay, so for the street light, something you have to repeat it. You have to make sure you're using the vantage point, so it will look smaller and smaller and smaller. All right, is that clear? Okay, so now keep working on it. And that's one more thing. All right, the street, the sidewalk. So we have the way for the car to dry, right? So normally the sidewalk usually are higher than the driveway. So we have to add the high. So double line. Okay, so we can separate that's the sidewalk and that's the driveway. And the sidewalk normally has the textures like the tile, the concrete tile. So try to make them look like the horizontal. Okay, they have to be horizontal, and getting the gap in between are going to be smaller, smaller, and smaller. Okay, so you can compare the one on the left, I haven't done anything yet, and the one on the right, we can show, that's something else. We have the high. We have the high of the sidewalk, and we know we are safe on the top and the car can dry on the bottom, right? Okay, so that's a detail. Don't forget to add them on. All right, so keep working on it. I know it's a lot, so try your best to do as much as you can during the class, so you won't need to do something else after the class. All right, so use your time wisely. Alright, I officially finished all of my building and detail on the street. But you see, I didn't do that much for the back wall of the building, right? Because they are too small. I only can add some few windows, a balcony, a doors, and I have an elevator and a special sign, so that will be nice, right? But I can't do the detail as I did like my first two buildings because they are more close and they are bigger, so I can do more. So I try to add the detail, but I try my best. So same thing for you. Try your best to add a detail for the forward back building. But if they are too small, just try to add something there. A window, a door, that's it. Alright, so when you're done with the door, about the detail of the structures, so I just imagined there's something more at the back, like another building. So I just do some random shade, just like the shadow, 2D shadow, to present those are the building far, far away. Right, we can see some shade, but we won't see the detail. Alright, so our background won't feel too empty. So something there, pretend there is a city, so there is a city behind. Alright, but we still need some green, so I'm gonna plant some tree to find some corner to fill the trees. Even I can have a pond, a lake at the back. The same thing because they are too far, so I'm not gonna do too much detail. So I won't add the dark because they are too small. I can add some dots to shows maybe there's something there. Alright, so try your best. I'm gonna pause the video right here. Then we have to move on to show you the next step. Alright, the last step. So that's the sidewalk. Not the sidewalk, the driveway. So we're gonna add some dots because it should look rough. Concrete will be a little bit smoother than the driveway. So I'm gonna add some dots. We will say that's a steep width. Alright, so then we can have some grass. So on the last part, I want you to look around to see where you can add the textures. So I'm adding some grass, the glass. See the glass, I just write a little bit rough, like writing the W. Then you don't have to do all the window, but just some of them. Sometimes you add 2 lines, that's good enough. So we know that's the glass. Okay, so when you're done, find a spot to sign the names, write down the dates for today. When you complete your drawing, sign the name and write down the date. 完成画作之后，签下你的名字，更写上日期。Bye bye, see you next time.